and meeting with all the community leaders, some community leaders, and pretty much get a good idea of what questions are going to be asked. With that information, we're already going to have a tour. We're going to hit every single council district and pass this word along. We understand there's a lot of fear. We understand that we need to do better and communicate it with the community. So that's what we have planned right now. I'm working very close with Sergeant Jesse Rodriguez, who is the new coordinator for Ordeals. Him and his team will be working side by side. I can't thank Chief Michael enough for understanding the needs of the community and actually doing a lot of proactive steps to make sure that our community is informed, educated of their rights, and actually to ensure them that we're here solely for the purpose of making their lives, their quality of life better. So thank you so much to the Chief, thank you so much to you all, we're here. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please get my phone number down. I'll give you a second. My phone number is 972-689-1962. 972-689-1962. That's my cell phone number. And I work directly for Chief Igo. So if you have any questions for me, please I'll be able to answer those. So muy buenos días, soy Teniente Eddie Reyes con el Departamento de Policía de Dallas. Yo antes tenía la responsabilidad de ser sargento sobre Unidos. Me promovaron y ahora estaba en patrullaje, pero recientemente el jefe de policía, Mike Igo, me llamó para atrás para ayudar a la comunidad. Ahorita por esos tiempos entendemos que hay mucho temor. Mi prioridad es hacer estas juntas con la comunidad y pues pasar la información de sus derechos y pues asegurarles que aquí estamos para ellos. No somos agentes federales, no nos importa el estatus migratorio. Lo que les importa es que ellos están reportando sus delitos para asegurar que ellos tienen una vida pues, en paz. Pues no lo puedo agradecer enough a Mike Igo, Chief Igo, por traerme. Yo estoy trabajando al lado de Jesse Rodriguez, que es el nuevo sargento de Unidos, y pues ahorita por las siguientes semanas vamos a tener muchas gentes en la comunidad para pasar esta palabra. So, si ustedes tienen cualquier pregunta, les voy a dar mi número de teléfono, por favor, con confianza, háblenme. Mi número de teléfono es 972-689-1962. Por favor, con confianza, háblenme, pues aquí estoy para ustedes. Gracias. Thank you.
Thanks for doing a great job, Eddie, okay? Appreciate you. And I am obligated to recognize some VIPs in the crowd that got in a few seconds later. We have with us former Dallas County Sheriff Lupe Valdez, who's a game changer. And you know, the politics in our county changed when Lupe got elected, without a doubt. And did a hell of a job over there. Thank you very much. There is a young lady here by the name of Asua that would like to give you an award. Lupe, you want to come up, Miss Asua? She's one of our state leaders. I think she's the state director for women. And so they'd like to give you an award for your long time advocacy for our community. Pasa pa acá enfrente, por favor. Ahí voy. Porque te va a durar.
Yo era que a lo menos me bañé, gracias a Dios.
Get in my spot. So good morning. It is an honor and a privilege to stand here before you today as the Texas LULAC State Director for Women to recognize a trailblazer, a leader, a champion for justice, former Sheriff Lupe Valdez. In 2004, Lupe Valdez made history, shaping the political establishment in Dallas County as the only Latina sheriff in the United States at the time. She not only broke barriers, but redefined leadership, serving with integrity and an unwavering commitment for justice. Her groundbreaking career has paved the way for so many women in different communities today. Before taking office, Sheriff Valdez dedicated her life to protecting others, both at home and abroad. As captain of the U.S. National Guard and federal agent, she served with courage, encouraging the safety of American citizens with the same passion and dedication that later redefined her tenure as sheriff. Her resilience, her advocacy, and her service have left an indelible mark, not just on Dallas County, but across the great state and our nation. Lupe Valdez embodies the spirit of leadership, the power of representation, and the heart of service that we celebrate here this morning. On behalf of the Texas LULAC women, it is my great honor to present this award to Sheriff Lupe Valdez, an extraordinary leader, a fearless trailblazer, and an inspiration to us all. Congratulations, Lupe Valdez.
Thank you so much. First of all, there's few people that know what a struggle it is to break the glass ceiling. And I used to tease and say, when you break the glass ceiling, you get cut. Because as you're going up, people are trying to pull you down and doing all kinds of things. Lots of things that were not made aware, and I think I finally decided to talk about it, is that when I changed the good old boy system, at least twice they tried to kill me. Because when you take away the power and the fun of other people, abuse of minorities, they fight. You take away, they were taking away cars from undocumented, they were taking away guns from people and not putting them into property. And so when you take all that away from them, they get upset and they want to fight, which is what's going on right now. Power is being taken away from a lot of people that have been used to constantly being in power and being abusive of it, and now they want to fight because it's being taken away from them. That's exactly what happened, and I'm so grateful that some people are actually aware of what goes behind the curtain. So thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Sheriff Lupe. He'll always be our sheriff. I am also obligated to recognize some board members that are here. National LULAC, we have Ms. Ana Boca. Would you please stand up? She's our Vice President for Youth, and that's a heck of a job. And also want to thank our own Delma Goristaita, who is an attorney now, but she was number one in her class, and we were trained to state of Texas, and she was the VP for young adults. Thank you so much for hosting us today. And now we have a dear friend, a humanitarian, who has been working on behalf of the disadvantaged people in this community for many, many years. Heidi Jawad is a Dallas-based human rights and peace and justice activist. He was affiliated with the old Dallas Peace Center for more than 2 decades and served in many positions, including as chairman of the Middle East Peace Committee. He is currently serving as board president of Human Rights Dallas that he co-founded with his long-term friend, Dr. Rick Helper. Heidi, bring it on. Let's hear it.
It's good to see everybody, see a lot of familiar faces and some new faces. Thank you, Hilda, and thank you, Claudia Martinez, for inviting myself and my colleague and friend, Dr. Rick Halpern, to speak this morning. We had no idea this was going to be such an emotional gathering with the incoming Chief of Police, Chief Igo, speaking to the concerns and the fears of the community. As a member of the Muslim community, I assure you that similar discussions are going on in the Muslim community here in Dallas right now as we speak regarding the threats that we are receiving from the new administration about Muslim bans and so forth. Things that we have gone through in the last iteration of this government. I was happy to hear some of the words of the chief regarding policies that they have enacted. But as a long-term activist, and some of you who have been on the streets of Dallas for many, many years should know that these policies are not 100% solid, bulletproof. There's going to be infractions. It is our job as members of civil society, as leaders in the community, to hold the Dallas Police Department and city officials accountable. We have to hold them accountable. That is how democracy strengthens, democracy prospers. That's how we safeguard our rights. My organization, Human Rights Dallas, is a nascent. It's a very new organization. It came into being last summer. Some of you might have attended our opening program, which was at the Latino Cultural Center, called the Struggle for Dignity and Human Rights in the Latino Community. Well-attended leaders attended that event, and we looked at the history of the struggle the Latinos have gone through in this city from the 1950s and 1960s and onward. The evil of racism, the evil of segregation, the evil of xenophobia, the effects of which, the evil of redlining, evil that still casts a shadow on Dallas. Today, we are still under the influence of these evils that existed 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Our mission at Human Rights Dallas, and you'll hear more about that from Dr. Halpern, because he thought about this idea 17 years ago. He was sitting in a meeting and he scribbled on a notepad somewhere, Human Rights Dallas. What would it take to make Dallas a city that respects, protects, defends, promotes the human rights of all who live here under the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt said, these universal rights are not for prime ministers and kings and queens and presidents to talk about. These universal laws that are enshrined in the UDHR are meant for all of us, for everybody, for everyone in this room, for everyone who shows up at our border. Human rights, Dr. Halpern likes to say, are not just for good and innocent people. They are for everybody. We are trying to make Dallas a human rights city. And simply all that means is that we bring together local government, members of civil society, which is us, and the private sector, to work together so that the dignity of all who call Dallas home is protected. And dignity is a good word to add to your vocabulary. It's a word we don't use much. Dignidad. Dignity. Dignity sees no color. It sees no race. It sees no political ideology. It sees no gender. It's beyond all these divisions and differences. Dignity is something that we all have just because we were born. The other word I would like to put into your vocabulary, we should use this word more, is solidarity. Because it's going to take solidarity. What that means is that you will see that the fight of my community is your fight too. And your fight is my community's fight. We have to be there for each other if we are to face the challenges that are coming down the pike. And we all know what I'm talking about. Thank you for being here. This is how we move forward. This is how we build coalitions. And it's my pleasure to ask Dr. Halpern to come up.
Thank you so very much. ¿Hay alguna pregunta para el señor? Is there any questions? Okay, I'm going to bring Fernando one next. Fernando Dubois. And Fernando Dubois has been I guess he's been an immigration lawyer for
Victor,
more than I know.
we have a question back here.
There's a question.
My question is to Hadi and to, of course, Dr. Halpern, who are going to answer the question. Those of us in the Latino community are seeing a lot of attacks, and we're taking us back in history and such. But can you talk a little bit more about that human rights group that you mentioned started here in the summertime? What is its mission? What is its purpose? And how can someone join and be part of that group? I am part of the group, but I just was hoping that you could be able to explain that a little bit better.
The mission of Human Rights Dallas is to build a culture of human rights in the city. Well, how do you build a culture? We say that we can build a culture in the city two ways. One is through education, and the other is through the arts. And we have the local Dallas artist, Mr. Feinan, and his lovely wife, Maddie, here, that have been helping us with the arts fund. So, the notion is that if we bring those three segments of society together, local government, civil society, which lawyers, writers, academics, professors, scholars, average rank and file people, and leaders of the private sector together, we can climb this mountain. We can build this culture in Dallas. It will take all of us. The challenges that we're facing are great, and it will take all three segments of society to build this culture. We say this over and over. Dallas, like every other southern city, has a whole bunch of baggage coming from the past, right? The evils that I talked about, the evil of segregation, racism. Dallas has come a long way from that. We are no longer that city. It took the blood of a child, 12-year-old Santos Rodriguez, to change this city, because the citizens of the city were horrified by what Dallas police did to this child 51 years ago. But we have to do this work. We have to embrace our past so we can move forward, become what we want to become. Dallas wants to become a globally acknowledged city, bright light on the hill. But it will not be able to do that. We were a sad city. We've come to be a good city maybe today. But if we want to be a great city, we believe that the path forward is the key of human rights. Grant everyone who lives in Dallas, who might be visiting or touring or passing through, dignity. We have a website, humanrightsdallas.org. It's sort of a sparse website, but you are welcome to visit, and you can post comments, ask questions. We have events coming up. We will be celebrating Black History Month at the Dallas Public Library. There will be a panel discussion that will be exactly the same as we had in the Latino community. What did the African American community go through here in Dallas in the 1950s and 60s? Fortunately, we still have people that lived in that time that can recount those experiences. Now, you heard from Frances Rizzo, for example, that she was discouraged from speaking Spanish when she was in school. So those kind of parts of our history have to be heard, have to be understood. We have more and more people coming to the city. You know, the question of Santos Rodriguez. If you ask, and maybe Dr. Halpin can talk about that a little bit, if you ask people, how many have you heard about Santos Rodriguez, you know, maybe 2 or 3 hands will go up. That's a sad state of affairs. We should know our history. And please visit our website, www.humanrightsdallas.org, and join our events. And there's a sign-in sheet going around, so you're welcome to sign in.
Thank you very much. Incidentally, many years ago, they actually did a park like in Washington State, I think, and we had almost nothing to recognize what happened here in 73. That's when it happened. 50 years? Yeah. So anyway, my friend Fernando is next. I have to kind of trade because I wanted to get up ahead. So Fernando, and again, as I mentioned earlier, a great immigration lawyer, and if you need any questions, he's the guy to answer them.
I don't need. No one ever accused me of being soft-spoken. So, can everybody hear me all right? If you want a reminder of how important the immigrant community has been for the development of the city of Dallas, when you leave the restaurant, take a left, go 4 doors down to the dental office of Dr. Elba Garcia, a first-generation Mexican immigrant who has given to the city, who has served the city, and has developed her own practice. What? Oh, okay. Well, sorry. All right. Now, okay, you want me to start again? All right. So, if you want a reminder of how important the immigrant community is to the city of Dallas, when you leave the restaurant, go to the left 4 doors to the dental office of Dr. Elba Garcia, a first-generation Mexican immigrant who came here, developed a successful dental practice, who has served the city of Dallas on the city council, and now is a county commissioner. And her husband's not so shabby either. Domingo has done so much. And those of us who know Domingo know that he is so much more than a successful doctor's trophy spouse. He is not just Dr. Garcia's man candy. I want to go first to the question that was raised earlier about what victims of crimes can do that are here without documents. There are 3 visas available, the T, S, and U visa. Those visas are available for victims of crimes, persons who have material information about ongoing criminal activity, and victims of human trafficking. Those visas do not ask you what your immigration status is. They don't ask you if you have your papers or if you've been deported before. If you have that information or you've been that victim, you can go and confidently get the support. I tell you, you cannot file those visas without the law enforcement, Dallas Police Department, signing off on those. And in the 30-some odd years I've been doing it, I have never had a problem with the Dallas Police Department helping one of my clients who was a victim or had material information on this. They have an office just for that. The Dallas Police Department's Crime Victims Unit. And it was led for over 25 years by Pat Keaton. She recently reached out to me. She's retired and she's asked me to go speak on immigrants' rights as this is going on. But that office is very helpful. And I've never had problems with the Dallas Police Department signing off on someone who had a valid reason to be a big fear or had information. So please, those of you who are out there with our community, who are activists, who have the grassroots, please let our clients, our people know that if you are a victim, you do not have to remain silent. And the City of Dallas and the Police Department will help you. The second thing I want to talk about is all the arrests we're seeing in the community right now. From what I've seen so far, there are 2 categories of people that ICE is targeting. Number 1, people who already have deportation orders, final deportation orders. That is either because they didn't go to court and they got an in absentia order, or they went to court, they fought the fight, they have filed the application for cancellation of removal, or they have fought for asylum, they lost, they appealed, they went through all the process, at the end of the day they lost. And they have now a final order. The second category are persons who have criminal history. And those of us who might remember, going back to 97, we saw this same playbook after the immigration dawn in 96. When ICE, was in USCIS immigration, started going after persons who were showing up with their probation officers and had serious criminal history. So we've seen this before. Those are the 2 categories of folks that are the most going after. Now, if you already have a final deportation order, most of your rights are already exhausted. There's not a whole lot you'll be able to do. If you have criminal history, you may be eligible for relief and you can fight the fight. But what I tell everybody else, if police or immigration shows up at your door and they're looking for fulano de tal, and you're not fulano de tal, number 1, they can't come into your house without a signed order from a judge saying we have the right to search for fulano de tal. Number 2, if they want to arrest fulano de tal, they need an order from a judge saying that we have an arrest warrant for fulano de tal. Without those 2 things, they cannot enter your home and they cannot arrest you. Now, they talked about collateral damage. Having an arrest warrant for fulano de tal does not open the door to ask everybody, the cousin, the nephew, the brother, the mom, the dad, the grandmother, their immigration status. In this country, we all have rights. But like I tell my clients, los derechos no sirven si no se aprovechan. Your rights don't mean anything if you don't take advantage of it. If they come asking you, if immigration shows up at your door and starts asking, I'll get you in just a second. Voy a repetirlo en español, señora. Si no hay problema, voy a hacerlo en inglés, por repito, si no, que un ida y vuelta. Yo soy viejo. So, voy a repetir todo en español al final. ¿Cómo? So, if they do show up, you do not have to, and you are not that person, and they do not have a warrant, you do not have to let them in. You do not have to answer questions. You have the right to remain silent. Or as my mother used to tell me, con boca cerrada no entran moscas. And I tell that to all my clients. Finally, if you do wind up in the hands of ICE, one of the things I always recommend to my clients, if you are in the process of getting papers, and this can take forever, it takes about 5 to 6 years. If you're married to a U.S. citizen and you need the perdón to get your residency, it's going to take 5 to 6 years from the time you file the first application, till you get it approved, till you find the second application, till you get it approved, till you finally file the third application and get your appointment in CWIs. Meanwhile, all you have is a letter from immigration saying you're approved and you're in line and we'll get to you when we're ready. What I tell my clients is this: if you wind up in the hands of ICE, you don't have a deportation, you have no criminal history, show them that letter. I have this application pending through my wife that's approved. My experience shows me that ICE will release you. Unless you have a criminal history or final deportation order, they will release you. And they may put you in removal proceedings, but here is not going to be until 2028 or so on. So, don't sign anything, don't say anything, and tell them, I want to use my rights, I want to see a judge, I want to see a lawyer, and I'd like a bond. Okay, ahora voy a hacer todo de vuelta en español. Todos tenemos derecho en este país, pero los derechos no sirven si no se aprovechan. Para personas que son víctimas de delitos criminales o tienen información para la policía sobre un delito algo serio, a lo mejor narcotraficantes o personas traficando personas, hay 3 visas disponibles para esa gente: la visa T, S y U. Esas visas no se pueden meter sin que la policía firme apoyando tu aplicación. En los 20 y pico años que estoy haciendo esto, nunca tuve problema con la policía o el departamento del sheriff en ayudarnos a apoyar a nuestra comunidad cuando son víctimas de delitos criminales o tienen información para dar a la policía. Entonces, ustedes que trabajen en la comunidad, si saben gente que fueron víctimas de delitos criminales que no sufren en silencio, pueden dar esa oportunidad para pedir una visa especial y la policía, te aseguro, te va a apoyar. Por 30 años haciendo lo mismo, van a apoyarte. Número 2, ¿qué estamos haciendo en la comunidad con el resto de miles de personas? Por ahora, lo que vemos, lo que están arrestando migración son personas que ya tienen orden de deportación final. A lo mejor porque no fueron a la corte, tienen una deportación en ausencia, a lo mejor fueron a la corte, lucharon, aplicaron por asilo político o amparo de deportación, perdieron, apelaron, perdieron la apelación y ya terminó el baile. La segunda categoría de personas que están arrestando por ahora son personas que tienen delitos criminales. Esas personas, hasta que están aquí ilegal y con delitos criminales, todavía tienen derecho, por un derecho con un juez, tienen derecho para una corte, tienen derecho para hablar con un abogado. Aprovechen tus derechos. Por ahora no estamos viendo a inmigración yendo a casa buscando cualquier persona en la calle, están buscando específicamente personas que tienen orden de deportación o delitos criminales. Ahora, ¿qué pasa si van a tu casa por orden de arresto para fulano de tal? Tú abrís la puerta, te preguntan quién sos vos y qué es tu estatus. No estás obligado a contestar esas preguntas. En este país tenemos derecho para mantenerlo en silencio. Aprovechar ese derecho, como dije recién, con boca cerrada no entran muertos. Si quieres darle tu nombre, pero nada más. Nada más. No te pueden arrestar por eso, no te pueden obligar de más información. Si no sos esa persona, no tenés que decir nada más. Una cosa más, recibí una entrevista con una visión sobre este que va a aparecer. La pregunta es si vienen buscándote y sos esa persona, si debes dar un nombre falso, un documento, no, soy fulano. No, ahí vas a meter la pata. Porque dando información falsa es un delito criminal ahí y pueden arrestarte por eso. Punto final. Dura por una persona que arregle sus papeles por parte de familia, tu esposa que es ciudadana, puede durar más que 6 años. Y mucha de la gente que están aquí sin documentos están en trámite. Ya metieron la primera petición, están en el segundo paso, estamos preparando que aprueben el perdón, la cita en Ciudad Juárez. Pero tienen cartas de migración mostrando que tienen algo aprobado. Mi consejo es, si al fin del día terminás con migración, con ICE, y no tenés delitos criminales, y no tenés una deportación final, mostrarle una copia de la carta de migración, tienes algo pendiente. La mayoría de esa gente, migración lo va a soltar. A lo mejor le dan una corte para 2028 con migración, pero mucho puede pasar en ese tiempo, pero van a estar libres. En muchos casos ni lo ponen en proceso de deportación, los están tan atrasados, están buscando casos para dejarlos así. Pero que no firmen nada, piden hablar con un abogado y aprovechen sus derechos. Por eso estamos aquí. Gracias. Y contesto cualquier pregunta que tienen. Ok, empezamos aquí.
Una pregunta.
La segunda es gratis.
Una persona que vive sola, tiene su casa pagada, tiene como 4 o 5 perros en su casa, pero vive sola y no tiene documentos. Supongamos que por alguna circunstancia migración la detiene, ¿qué va a pasar con sus bienes, sus carros, su casa, sus perros? O sea, ¿qué va a pasar? Ella no tiene familiares aquí, tiene cerca de 30 años viviendo aquí y está en esa situación.
Y mira, sinceramente, yo no he habido ninguna situación cuando migración te va a detener estando en esa situación. La mayoría de gente que están deteniendo migración sin fianza o lo detienen para una fianza, después son personas que tienen delitos criminales o en deportación final. Si por casos una señora de pico años aquí, ningún problema, porque se terminas en las manos de migración, te van a soltar. Te van a dar una cita, a lo mejor no, pero te van a soltar. Pero eso, una de las cosas que veo, y yo entiendo el miedo que hay en la comunidad, lo que no quiero hacer es asustar más gente de lo es necesario.
Ok, pero suponiendo que en los peores de los casos, ¿cómo se tiene que preparar ella para su casa? Su casa está pagada, sus cuentas de banco, sus coches, ¿cómo va a ser?
Ok, primero, la cosa es esto. Si no tienes orden de deportación final, en otras palabras, ya fuiste a la corte, no fuiste a la corte, para tu corte te van a soltar para una corte en el futuro. Tu corte no va a ser hasta 2026, 2020, están atrasados. Va a tener mucho tiempo para esa persona que ponga las cosas en orden. La otra cosa, si quiere estar preparada, puede hablar, puede poner todo, dar el power of attorney, una persona que puede ser responsable por la casa, por el auto, por las cuentas y todo eso. Yo tengo casos así cuando sé que va a terminar el baile y hablo con el que es muy sincero, mira, estamos haciendo esto, la apelación da tanto tiempo, pero ya estamos al final. Poner las cosas en orden, aprovechar poner las cosas en orden. Puedes hacer eso antes.
Eso es lo que ella quiere
Sí,
saber.
sí, se puede hacer, sí, el power of attorney para pasar la casa, otras cosas así, pero te
Es un caso
repito,
extremo.
sí, hay tanto miedo, lo peor que queremos es asustar más gente. Gracias. Oh, you want me to repeat that in English? Do I need to repeat that in English, y'all? Okay.
Bueno, yo tengo 2 casos diferentes. Una persona está trabajando y ya tiene años que el dueño del negocio, cuando se dio cuenta que ella no tenía seguro social, dejó de pagarle, ahora le paga cuando le da su gana y lo que le da su gana. La otra persona es una persona que tiene una niña menor de edad. El esposo es el que la abusa verbalmente, la ha tratado de atacar, no la ha golpeado, pero cada rato le dice, sí. Si tú le hablas a la policía, yo le hablo a la migración. Si tú vas a hablar de la casa, yo le hablo a la migración y te van a llevar. Ella tiene miedo porque dice, si tú le hablas a la policía va a traer la migración y te van a llevar. Eso es seguido. Él está viviendo adentro de la casa. La casa cuando la compraron entre los dos. Están casados. Y aún así la casa la puso nomás a nombre de él porque él era el que estaba legal nada más. Entonces ahora cuando la amenaza, la ha corrido de la casa. No se va porque ella dice, ¿dónde voy? ¿Con quién voy? No tengo dinero, no tengo familia. Ella trató de aplicar para la niña porque la niña sí es ciudadana y se lo niegan porque la casa, aparte que la casa es de él, el nombre de él nada más, vive ahí en la casa. Él no paga biles, no paga comida, no paga reparaciones, nada natural.
Déjame, La visa, hablamos recién de la visa TSIU para víctimas de delitos criminales. Esa es la visa que puede aprovechar a esta persona. Tiene que meterle cargos contra el marido. Pero hay una ley que fue firmada por el Senator Joe Biden, the Violence Against Women's Act. Es una ley que protege víctimas de violencia doméstica. Entonces, cuando uno le dice, si yo llamar a la policía, voy a llamar a migración. Yo tuve un caso a eso, 20 y pico años atrás. Le puse una pistola contra la cabeza, llama a la policía, vamos a la migración. Me llamó la policía lo puso en contacto conmigo y le damos la visa por la visa U y el Power. Hay remedios disponibles para víctimas de delitos criminales, hay remedios disponibles para víctimas de violencia doméstica. Como dije recién, no tienen que sufrir en silencio y la policía va a apoyarlos. Pero el primer paso es llamar a la policía y ponerle cargo contra eso, porque el problema que yo tengo, cuando tengo personas que vienen a mi oficina, hey, ¿sabes qué me hace todo? Llamaste a la policía, tenemos comprobantes, llamar a la policía, dar orden de protección. Le van a echar a la persona en la parte de la no le importa. Le van a dar orden de protección y ella va a quedarse en la casa con los niños y si él va de vuelta, lo van a arrestar a él. Por eso esta ley es tan importante. Okay, yes,
Un momentito, ¿qué tú eres primero?
So, mi pregunta es, ya como el presidente dijo que los carteles son terroristas, ¿qué puede hacer una persona que huyó México por amenaza de los carteles? ¿Se le puede hacer una visa? ¿Y cómo podemos ayudar? Yo soy ciudadana, vivo en una comunidad de inmigrantes, perdón por llorar,
Sí.
pero ellos no saben dónde ir. Yo le estoy llenando las aplicaciones para sus hijos para que vayan a Jesuit, a San Marcos. Y a veces yo me siento y me da mucha tristeza porque yo sé que hay mucho, pero yo no sé dónde empezar y cómo guiar a esa gente. Porque muchos de nosotros desafortunadamente no preguntamos y no hacemos lo que tenemos que hacer por nuestra gente, en aprovechar y preguntar y asistirlos. Porque todos podemos, especialmente nosotros que somos primera generación americana, hablamos los dos idiomas.
Mira, primero, es muy difícil pedir asilo político por los carteles, ¿ok? Eso, y tenés que entregarte a la migración y ponerte en proceso de deportación para meter esa aplicación. Entonces, cuidado, no quieres entregarte a la migración, claro, quiero aplicar porque me estaban mencionando los carteles. Eso no es necesariamente asilo político. Ahora, si vos tenés información específica, yo sé que en esta casa, en El Paso, esconden 200 personas, después llevan a este lugar en camión, con este camión pasan por este chequeo donde conocen el fulano de tal, que lo deja pasar. Eso es información que la policía y los federales pueden usar en la investigación. Entonces, si tiene ese tipo de información, pónganse en contacto con un abogado de migración, con una gente que ayuda a la comunidad y te van a ayudar a pasar esa información federal. Yo tuve un caso años atrás. Tenía una señora que tenía un montón de información sobre los carteles donde dejaban, cuando cruzaban a los Estados Unidos, donde dejaban safe house, llamaban un safe house, y de ahí por dónde pasaban, el cual chequeo, a qué horario, y hicimos una cita con el DEA y el FBI, le dio esa información, le juntaban su teléfono, información que tenía, le dieron esa visa especial. Y se quedó aquí con eso. Pero tenés esta información muy válida. Y eso.
Cervantes.
Mire, mi pregunta es esta. Yo por muchos años he sido activista. Mi organización estudió por la identidad latina que estaba inactiva, pero de hoy en adelante va a ser activa. La pregunta es esta. Yo en lo que sé, yo le ayudo a la gente, me dice que si soy abogada, digo no, pero yo tengo la ayuda del congresista y ¿cómo se llama el abogado? Ron West. Desde que ellos entraron, todos los problemas que yo les lleve los resolvemos. Así la pregunta para usted es esta. Hay una persona que venía de Guatemala y la atropellaron en Laredo y esa persona quedó discapacitada. Entonces esa persona va donde yo voy a la terapia y resulta que ya no le quieren ayudar porque según ella ya le dieron la visa por esa que usted dijo, por algún problema que tenga, ¿verdad? Entonces yo le digo a ella que ella puede demandar a la persona que la accidentó o a la compañía, porque era una compañía, y dice que no se puede. Digo, sí se puede porque realmente esa niña está discapacitada, ella es en andador y todo, y no la quiere ayudar ni Parkland ni nadie. Así que es lo que se puede hacer.
No sé, yo solamente eso no es cosa de migración, la verdad. Si tiene un juicio, Domingo García es los mejores abogados para el juicio.
No es juicio, ya lo cerraron, ya no se podía hacer nada.
No sé, señor, no sé, perdón. Yes, ma'am.
Ahí viene el micrófono.
Okay, I'll say it in English first. Okay, in the U.S., we have the right to remain silent. But in Mexico or other countries, I believe you do not have that right. Is this correct? Y esto es para familias que se van a regresar a México. ¿Ellos también tienen derechos de quedarse en silencio?
No sé la ley de México sobre lo que te da la Constitución, solamente es bastante saber lo que tengo que hacer en los Estados Unidos. Pero si están aquí, no tienen que hablar.
One more.
Yes.
Nada más una pregunta rápida. Por ejemplo, es muy común que en nuestra comunidad, bueno, perdón, válgase la redundancia.
No se oye.
Acá.
No se oye.
Hola. Es muy común que entre nuestra gente tengan un DWI. ¿Qué pasa, por ejemplo, si los detiene la policía o el ICE? ¿Ya está clasificado como una felonía?
No. Primero, un DWI no es una felonía sin que sea el tercero que tiene su niño en el auto. Pero voy a hablar más del tema del ICE hold. ¿Qué pasa? Te para la policía y tienen el ICE detainer para que te pasen a migración, porque esto es muy común. Número uno, el ICE hold, no pueden ponerte un ICE hold por el arresto. Te ponen el ICE hold o porque estás aquí ilegal, sin papeles, o estás aquí con residencia, tuviste un delito criminal años atrás y te ponen disponible para que te deporten, a lo mejor de drogas, domestic violence, algo así. Número dos, migración no te va a tocar, no te va a pasar hasta que o pagues por el delito criminal o pagas la fianza por el cargo que tenés pendiente, el DWI. Ahí te pasan a migración. Cuando yo tengo clientes en esta situación, primero quiero confirmar que no tienen deportaciones antes, número uno. Número dos, querés confirmar que no tienen delitos criminales antes. Entonces, si la primera vez que tuvo este problema, el DWI, lo encontraron con posesión de marihuana, algo así, ningún otro problema. Y si tiene un trámite pendiente o manera para pedir al juez, quiero aplicar por los 10 años, o mi esposa me pidió esto en trámite, lo que le aconsejo es al abogado que está manejando el caso criminal, pagar la fianza por delito criminal, porque ahí lo van a pasar a migración. No lo pasan a migración hasta que lo suelta el condado. Cuando lo pasan a migración, ahí le dice a migración, mira, yo tengo este trámite pendiente por parte de mi esposa. Quiero ver que lo haga un juez, quiero una corte, quiero una fianza, quiero hablar con un abogado. No firmes nada. A ese punto, migración va a hacer una de dos cosas. A lo mejor te dan una fianza y dicen, ok, que alguien paga una fianza de $5,000, te soltamos, va a la corte. Paga la fianza y te preocupa de eso otro día. O no te dan fianza, te mandan un centro de detención Alvarado, típicamente, y ahí ganas un abogado de migración que te va a apoyar, y yo meto una aplicación con el juez de migración para pedir una corte para una fianza. Y ahí en esa corte de la fianza presentan con el juez de migración, mira, sí, este señor tuvo este problema, está pendiente, tiene 15 años aquí, no tuvo problemas antes, tiene trámite pendiente por su esposa, va a presentarse a la corte, se va a portar bien, y el juez le da una, si tenés buenos comprobantes, el juez de migración le va a dar una fianza, paga esa fianza, está libre, después se ocupa del delito criminal y la corte después. Por eso digo, al principio, no firmes nada, aprovechar tus derechos, no hagas el trabajo de migración tan fácil, te pasas la migración, firmas que me he hecho. No, hacer la lucha.
Your telephone number in case you want to ask
Oh,
questions.
yeah. Por cualquier cosa, si quieren llamarme, mi teléfono es 214-948-7571. 214-948-7571. Y por favor, si es una emergencia, decide. Tengo alguien tenido esa emergencia, llamamos, si no el mismo día, el próximo día.
In English. In English.
Oh, okay, yeah. My phone number is 214-948-7571. 214-948-7571. We answer the phone 24 hours. If it's an emergency and you have someone detained, tell them it's an emergency. My husband, my son got arrested by immigrants, and now they have an immigration hold, and I will go from there. Perdón? Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Fernando y el apellido Dubove. D-U-B-O-D-E. Fernando Dubove.
Gracias, Fernando.
¿Qué más, che? Aprovechen. Ok, gracias a ustedes.
Let's hear it for Fernando. Great job. Hey, you want the best? Right here. You have it here this morning. So for any issue you have, si tienen alguna otra pregunta, por favor, llamarle a él personalmente. Lo mejor que hay aquí en Abogados de Inmigración.
Estuve hablando con mi mamá.
And now we are honored to have Dr. Rick Helpern with us this morning. He's a co-founder of Human Rights Dallas and director of SMU Human Rights Program. He's been around for a long, long time. But one thing that I really want to congratulate him for is Santos Vive. I think that he was a key cog, as well as Hadi. But they did a great job of making sure that we didn't forget what happened in 1972. Rick, welcome.
Good morning.
Morning, morning.
My apologies, I have poor eyesight. I'd like to think I have great vision, but I have poor eyesight. First, before I start, I'd like to thank and I want to recognize Marina Ruiz, who's been walking. Stand up. This is a board member of Human Rights Dallas, and we are indebted to her talent and her passion in walking this room. Thank you. My comments are really in two areas today. The first is national. I'm a historian. I just want to see and put some things in a bigger context. And then locally, about what's happening here in Human Rights Dallas. Now, this country, from its colonial inception to today, is pretty young. It's only 418 years. It's not much. But the one constant thread that has pathetically, tragically run from our inception to today is the original sin of this country. It's not slavery. It's white supremacy. White supremacy preceded slavery. And you and I are living under the scourge of this disease called white supremacy. Whatever your skin color, whatever your ethnic background, your faith, your orientation, we all live with this effects. You know, it's chiseled in stone over the front door of the U.S. Supreme Court. Equal justice under law. Sounds great. It's the lie of lies. Because this country has never afforded everybody in this country the idea of dignity, equal rights, and justice under the law. Never. You know, we had the horrors of slavery, obviously. The onslaught against indigenous people, the real Americans. And just to come forward in a hurry, we excluded people from Asia, the Chinese Exclusion Act in the 1880s, which lasted until World War II. The most restrictive piece of U.S. immigration history to our moment today, the 1924 Quota Act, which was designed to make America as white as possible. by keeping people out of this country from Eastern and Southern Europe, only wanting people from Western Europe and Scandinavia to come here. Some of you may remember this horrible policy in the name of the law in the 1950s under President Eisenhower, Operation Wetback. That was the name of the law, that the law could use such an outrageous, scandalous title because that's how people were viewed. Racist, others, just deport them. And now the 1970s, and here we are today. My point is that what is happening today, this isn't anything new. This is America. This is a dark thread that has run from our beginnings to today. It's just that for young people, especially students, younger people, who are now just coming of age politically, this is new to them. But for those of us who have been around a while, this is the same old, same old. The idea that America has always looked at people that don't look almost exclusively like white males, white rich males, as others, and puts a label on them and discriminates against them in the name of the law. That's what we are up against. This thing has been going on for 4 centuries, so this is a struggle. And this is why it's so hard. This just isn't anything new. And it's a challenge for you and me and everybody in here. In July, I'm going to be 75 years old. 3/4 of a century. I can't believe it. My mind tells me I'm 25, but my birth certificate says I'm going to be 75. You know, I was born in 1950 in a tiny town in Alabama at the onset of the Civil Rights Movement. And those of us who can remember what in God's name happened to people because of who they were, who they looked like, and how the damn law was used to hurt and discriminate them, and even kill them with impunity in the name of the law. We have come a long way to some degree from then, but we are nowhere close to the America that you and I deserve. We deserve a better America, and we're working for it. We're a lot better than we were, but we're nowhere close to where we need to be. So let me just pivot to this idea that my cohort and best friend Hadi spoke about, human rights and human rights Dallas. Because all human rights issues are education issues. Whatever the issue is, immigration rights, death penalty, children's rights, women's rights, poverty, literacy, they're all human rights issues. And you, me, all of us, we cannot demand our rights if we don't even know what our rights are. We have to know our rights. And your rights, my rights, the rights of all 8 billion people walking around this planet are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is the godmother, the godfather, the grandparents of you and me understanding that we are entitled to 5 types of rights: civil, political, social, economic, and cultural. And I'm not listing those in any particular order. And I would urge you to look at the UDHR, and especially Article 1. All of this came out of World War II when the UN was formed and we tried to have a new world without the horrors of World War II and the Holocaust. Article 1. You might think that your most basic right is the right to life, but it isn't. Article 1. All people are fundamentally entitled to a life with dignity and rights. And dignity comes before the word rights. We got children in Dallas digging through other people's garbage to eat at night. You know, they're alive, but that's hardly a life with dignity. This is all about dignity for you, me, regardless of who you are, regardless of who any of us are. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter whether you're male, female, transgender, white, black, yellow, brown. It doesn't matter what language you speak, what faith you speak. In human rights, there's no accurate phrase that says, you know, I'm all for human rights except for. There's no except. We either fundamentally have to believe that all of us, regardless of who we are and what we look like, are entitled to a life with dignity and rights, or we make excuses why certain groups of people, maybe even entire communities, can be abused, mocked, laughed at, bullied, targeted, arrested, disappeared, tortured, or killed with your approval or indifference. This is not rocket science. Human rights begins when we look at ourselves in the mirror, and we have to ask ourselves, who am I? Really? Do I think that your rights are the same as mine? Or do I make excuses why something bad can happen to you and I don't care? You know, this is not easy. If it was easy, we'd all be doing human rights. But it isn't. And my other point is, most of us, me, you, we have been, this is a global issue, but I'm focusing here. We have been educationally failed because we don't teach this subject. This is a subject that you and me, we all should have had in school. You know, SMU, I've been there 41 years. Whatever your image is and the vision of SMU, better or worse, we all have an image of what that place was and is. I can tell you this. There's over 5,000 colleges and universities in this country, and SMU is one of only 9, you can count them on 2 hands, 9 that offer an undergraduate degree program in human rights. It's phenomenal that it's at SMU right here. I know how lucky I am. I get to work with students, many of whom are from DISD. And as was said on the opening night of class, I'll ask my students, how many of you have heard the story of Santos Rodriguez? Arguably the crime of crimes in this city, possibly excluding JFK. But I'm shocked, I'm horrified with the amount of my students that went to school in this city who have no clue. No clue. We're 51 years beyond that. Santos should be alive today getting ready to go to the World Cup next year. But he's not. He's a memory for us that you and I owe him and owe people like him, so that their suffering and their demise was not in vain and must be remembered as part of this ongoing struggle for dignity. That's our job. Now, a young lady here stood up earlier as a teacher. She's on the front line of this. I see students who are beyond high school. She's in the trenches, and so are elementary school teachers. You don't have to get graphic with younger children about the bad human behavior that falls under the headings of genocide, torture, rape and war, and all of these disgusting aspects of human behavior. Little children understand this. Bullying, targeting, discrimination, abuse, kids who wear glasses when they're little. They know. They don't know yet about the real horrors that I've just mentioned, but they know what it means to be picked on. This stuff needs to be taught in our schools from day one. That is our job, whether you're an educator or not. So human Rights Dallas, what are we doing in addition to the things that Mahadi mentioned? I won't go over those again, but I will say this. Our job is to bring this subject, this pedagogy, into public discourse. I like to say, I'll know we have a great society in Dallas when people are talking about human rights the way they talk about the Dallas Cowboys. You know, then we'll really have a society, in my opinion. We are working. Dallas does have a human rights officer. First time, Christopher Graves, and he's great. We're working with him and his office. But what are we wanting? This will come hopefully with your support. We want the human rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we want it visible, and especially in English and Spanish and other languages in this city. We want the UDHR on DART, on buses, trains. We want the UDHR in Love Field, in Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. When you come and go out of this city, it ought to be the first thing that everybody sees. Welcome to a city committed to the defense, protection, and advocacy of human rights. That's the Dallas we want. And that's the Dallas we are committed to bringing forward. That is what we need. This subject, I want to just repeat, and then I'm getting ready to stop. This subject is hard, but it's the only thing, to my knowledge, whatever you do in your life, whether you're an attorney, an educator, an athlete, an artist, an engineer, you can't name anything which isn't linked to human rights. Everything that you and I do in your workforce, in your public commitment to service, in your private life, it all revolves around how we look at each other, how we treat each other, how we want to be treated. Your job and mine. We have to stop saying the most dangerous phrase in English, Spanish, any other language in the world, which is, when it comes to this subject, I didn't know. We have to know. We have to know for our children, because sooner or later they're not going to be high school or university students. They're going to be the new leaders in this city, this state, this country, this world. And they have to know about human rights, and they have to be committed to the defense, protection, and rights for you, me, and the families that they're going to bring into existence. This, my friends, is your job and mine. Thank you, and God bless.
Dr. Hepburn, for anyone that wants to join you, where can we reach you? Dr. Hepburn, thank you for being here. Give us your phone number and contact information if anybody here would like to join you.
Sure. Okay, my number at SMU, I don't have a cell phone, so my number at SMU, 214-768-3284. 214-768-3284. My email is RHALP, as in Pennsylvania, ERI. There's no N in my email. RHALPERI at mail.smu.edu. It's no imposition on me. Email me, call me, let's collaborate, let's make this city better. I'm all for it. Have cause, we'll travel.
Dr. Halpern, I have a question. When are the classes?
My name is Rick Halpern.
Dr. Halpern, when are the classes that you can take classes for human rights?
They're probably going to be. I tried to offer a human rights class for the community. This starting last month, starting earlier in January, but it was canceled because there wasn't any enrollment. There was no enrollment or interest in it. So I'm putting this before you now. If this is something, it wouldn't cost you too much, if anything, but I'm happy to do this. probably would be next spring because it would be on Saturdays, and dealing with football games in the fall on Saturdays would be too disruptive. So my guess it would be a year from now, but it would be in the community. But I'm happy to come if you want me to do this in your community or talk about this or just answer questions about human rights in a broader context and what you and I are dealing with. I'm happy to do it. As I say, it's no imposition on me. This is who I am, and it's all I do in or out of the classroom, day or night. Thank you, Rick. My number one more time, 214-768-3284. As I say, I'm not on social media, I don't have a cell phone, but I pride myself on being real good with email. So email me and you'll hear from me ASAP. Again, thanks, God bless.
Let's give him a LULAC, thank you. Let's hear it for Rick Helper. And Rick, I remember Renee telling me only 6 people graduated when he graduated from SMU. That's in the 60s. When my wife went to get her master's there in the 70s, they kind of looked at her like, what are you doing here? I mean, that prevailed almost anywhere here in higher university, you know, but hey, it hasn't changed much from then. But it has changed. Now, we're going to have our next speaker, who is currently serving on the school board of Dallas Board of Trustees, Reverend Maxie Johnson. But anybody that's going to have an announcement and or wants to make some comments, if there's some people that are going to announce for a public office, please make a line to my right. And it is my pleasure to welcome Maxie Johnson, who serves on the board, District 5, since 2019. District 5 is a large and diverse district that spans West Dallas, Oak Lawn, Uptown, and a large portion of South Eau Claire. Trustee Johnson has been an active community member throughout the decades. He serves as pastor at New Morning Star Baptist Church in West Dallas. Maxie Johnson is a proud graduate of Dallas ISD Mason Smith High School and the parent of a son and daughter who graduated from South Oak Cliff High School. Johnson has devoted countless hours to the South Oak Cliff High School PTA and Alumni Association, including standing with his son. David will successfully advocate for $52 million in improvements in the school. Trustee Johnson is deeply invested in the quality of our schools and the success of all our students. He has worked in the community for more than 15 years as a community liaison, community organizer, and football and baseball coach. He has worked to empower kids, his community, and their families to work towards common goals. And I welcome you to Reverend Maxie Johnson.
Good morning. Good morning. Not going to be long. It's not Sunday, so we're not going to preach a sermon this morning. But I want to thank Brother Domingo Garcia and Elba and LULAC for inviting us this morning to be here to speak. Let me first say this, that now more than ever it's time for Black and brown communities to stand together. Pastor in West Dallas. I've been in West Dallas for 5 years, going on 6 years now. One of the accomplishments that I really am proud of is naming the old Pinkston after Dr. Elber and Domingo Garcia. That was excellent in our community supporting that. Thank you. We talk about equity. Dr. Hinojosa said this when he was a school board trustee. People talk about equity, but we must do equity. And so when we're looking at what's going on, I understand the fear as an African American myself. I understand the fear to go out your house and not knowing what's going to happen. Every time my son leaves his room when he was in college, traveling back and forth down the road, I'm afraid because I didn't know if he was going to be able to make it back home. So the fear that's going on, I understand. It is sad that we're in this moment. I was telling my campaign that it's sad that we're even having to have these kind of discussions, but it's a reality. And so I've been on school board since 2019. I have been a big advocate for Black and brown communities, and I can let you know now that we're going to do everything we can, and we're doing everything we can to keep all kids safe in Dallas ISD. So I spoke with the superintendent this morning, I spoke with the superintendent yesterday, I spoke to the superintendent the day before, and this is a very important and sensitive matter, but I can assure you that we are keeping all kids safe. We will follow the policy and we will follow the Constitution. Our kids will be safe. And we know there's a lot of fear going on. I was here earlier listening to one of the teachers speak, and I understand her fear. I understand what she's going through. I understand what our parents are going through. Because we are listening to our parents, we're listening to the community. When I'm knocking on doors and speaking to our community, I hear the fear. But I can tell you that we are going to do everything to keep our kids safe. 71% of Dallas ISD is Latino children. The majority of the district is Latino children. And so we're going to continue to advocate for safety. We're going to continue to advocate for equity, and we're going to follow the law. We're going to follow our policy, and all of our kids are safe and will be safe. You can contact the administration. If you have any concerns, you can contact me on my email, maxiejohnson@dallasisd.org. You can contact Dr. Elizalde. We're going to do what we need to do, and I'm listening to your voice. I pastor in this community, in District 5. I live in this community. I'm a former football and baseball coach, a former PTA dad. So I understand, I'm a grassroots person. So I understand the fear, I understand what's going on, and we're going to stand together. I'm running for city council. I've been on the school board again for 6 years, and we've done a lot of great work on school board. We brought over $400 million back to the black and brown community for our kids. We built a brand new Kingston High School, brand new South Oak Cliff High School, and our grades are coming up academically. The schools in District 5 are doing well. And so I'm asking for your support. I have information here, and we're going to run on 4 things. And I'm going to get out here. We're going to run on economic development. We're going to keep our seniors first, public safety, and quality of life. And when we're looking at public safety, I want to stop kind of hang our head right there, because this has been a discussion that we're dealing with. We need to make sure that all of our communities are safe. We need to make sure that when you walk outside, that you feel safe. We know that when you're going to the store, when you're driving, that you feel safe. So we're going to be fighting for safety, public safety. We're going to make sure that we put you first. Yes.
Could we please give him his attention, please? We can't hear what he's saying. You're talking to your neighbor.
So we're going to make sure we keep our community safe and continue to strive for excellence. We're going to build the community with the community. So I know it's been long. I have my material here. If you want to receive that, I give that to you. But at the same time, I want to let you know, because I heard the concern of those here concerned our children. Know that we're keeping our children safe, and we're going to follow our policy. We're going to follow our laws. Any questions anyone wants to ask? Yes.
Good morning and welcome, of course, to the Chorizo Menudo. My question is, one, could you repeat your email address again? And two, we've had through various community partners, various community and know your rights type of presentations in some of the campuses. Unfortunately, they were canceled by the district administration and told that perhaps in the future we might do something, or that they would depend on the district staff to do presentations, which would replace presentations by experts, immigration experts, attorneys, who I don't know that the district community liaisons and such would be prepared to really answer the questions of the public. Could you speak to that? Could you, was that canceled at the request of the board, or was that canceled for some other reason? And will there be potentially in the schools workshops for parents to learn what their rights are and how they can cope with the fear that they're very much experiencing now?
Yes, thank you. What's your name?
Ray De Los Santos.
Thank you, Brother Ray. Yes, my email is Maxie Johnson, MAXIE, Johnson, JOHNSON, @DallasISD.org. My campaign email is Maxie Johnson, MAXIE, JOHNSON, District 4, at gmail.com. That's District 4, the number 4, at gmail.com. So Maxie Johnson at dallasisd.org, MaxieJohnson at dallasisd.org, and Maxie Johnson, my first last name, Maxie Johnson, MaxieJohnson, District 4 at gmail.com. No, the board has not made that decision. That is an administration decision. This is the first time I've heard about it. But I can tell you that we will be doing workshops and community meetings within our own district. Of course, you know that we're a single-member district, and I try to work with our community and our community liaison. We have a great community liaison in South Oak Cliff that works all across the city, Brother Derry Baptiste. And so when you're needing that information about workshops and trying to make sure that we get the information out to make sure our community knows their human rights, that is something that we can do. And I will be making sure that I get with the administration to talk about what you're saying and see if we can get some information out to our community so they'll know their human rights. And any questions that they have, you have my email and we'll be answering that. And if I can't answer it, give me 24 to 48 hours. I'll have an administration from Dr. Elizalde's team to contact you and get that answer to you.
One question right here.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm interested in what the
Blessings to you.
I'm interested in what the ethnic background of your district is. What percentage is Hispanic, what percentage is African American, what percentage is white, Asian, etc. Do you know?
Yes, 71% is Hispanic, 20% is 71% is Hispanic, 20% is African American, 5% is other. So the majority of my district is Hispanic.
That's a school board. What about the city council?
Yeah, I'm talking about city council. I don't care about.
I have not got the demographics on the city council concerning our ethnicities, so I can get that information to you.
Yes. Yes, Ever Amaya from a resident of District 4, Cedar Crest neighborhood. We had a town hall last month. We asked the neighborhood what they want to write. We had 3 boards. We told them to describe their neighborhood now, the things they need, and the places they like to go to. The conclusion we came to is that people like the neighborhood, they like it to be quiet, they like the trees, they like the big lots in the neighborhood, right? What they wanted was economic development, groceries, shops. Basically, they described a lot of different neighborhoods that have a little bit more density. Everybody was kumbaya. This is what we have, right? And then a developer came in trying to add a little bit of gentle density to a big lot, a lot of land that was completely empty, 7,000, I think, square feet lots. These houses, if they would remain the same, when they come out for sale, it would be in the $800,000 range, something like that. The same neighbors came back, well, not all of them, several of them, the majority of them, came back and said they were against lowering the lot sizes because it would bring too low income housing. When the developer came in and told them these houses will start at $350K and above. To me, that's not low income housing. My house was $340 and me and my husband can barely afford it. And we are young, no kids, with 2 white-collar income jobs. So economic development is very complicated. People want things, but they also want to keep the quiet. They want to keep the low density, which you cannot do that. So my question to you is, how will you handle that as a council member? How will you be able to get people together? Because people immediately, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. And I understand people are afraid of gentrification, which is a real thing, and that goes to the subject of like corporate ownership of land, all of that, but that's way beyond what the council can do. So how would you handle that? Because in my opinion, the current council member just opposes everything, every economic development thing that happens. She's always saying, stay woke, this and that, but she never has any new one. So how would you approach that? Because our neighborhood, the houses keep just getting more and more expensive. And a lot of the people, a lot of the voters have not purchased a home in 20 plus years, so they have no idea what it's like to buy a house now. So how will you handle that?
Thank you for your question. I live in Cedar Crest on Argyle, so you probably know, I think I may have knocked on your door. I'm a big supporter of economic development. How we do that is we have to build a community with the community. One thing I said, this is not my neighborhood, this is our neighborhood. One of the successes that I've had with school board is making sure that we bring everybody together. I'm a community organizer, so I'm big on bringing everybody together. I was a community liaison for Dallas ISD for 10 years. So when we're making these decisions, notice what I'm saying, when we are making these decisions, we're coming together, we're dealing with the pros and cons, we're getting ideas, we're putting everybody at the table at the beginning of the project, not after things have been already decided. One of the things that I have done, and that as a trustee in District 5, is when we have projects, we bring our community to the table in the beginning, because involvement brings investment. You want to know what's going on. You need to know what's going on, and it's my job to bring that information to you. It's my job to work with our community and make sure that we're working together. We need our community safe. We want economic development, but we got to clean District 4 up, and we have to have a safe District 4. In order for our economic development to be sustainable, we have to have a safe community. And so that's number one. We have to have a safe community, and we have to continue to work with our community, build a community with the community, put our community first, and listen to everyone. And then we together make a decision that's best for everyone. We have issues right now. I don't know if anybody heard all these gunshots that's going on every time we lay down at nighttime. That's concern. It's concern for me because I've seen so many kids get killed in District 4. My oldest boy was killed in gunfire. My son died since his gun violence. And so I've been a big advocate of making sure that we're supporting our kids, we're keeping our community safe, and doing whatever we need to do to bring safety to our community. And so I have some plans that I want to, if God bless me win this election, to sit down with the council members, also sit down with the city manager, and I have a plan for day one that I want to make sure that we have a police station, police storefront in District 4, as well as a coal station in District 4, so we can meet these needs, and it's not a long time before we get those answers and be able to serve our community.
Betsy, I live right next door to your district, as you know, and I have found bullets on my trash recycling in my neighborhood. I've found 3 bullets on the street so far over the last year, so I'm worried about that. But I want to brag about South Oak Cliff, your high school, because you helped us get $52 million to rebuild that school. And the next year, they won the state football championship after it was done, and then they did it again the next year, and then they made it to the finals the next year, and then they made it to the finals the 4th year in a row. And then, that 4th year, 2024, they also got the highest academic SEI scores of any of the 22 schools in Dallas, except for 2 who were just barely ahead of them. Yeah. And this year we're going to be the top. So that's really good. But there is a challenge, and it's a big one, that you're going to have to face. Because if you're elected to office, you will probably be there when we redistrict in 2030. And you and I both know how terribly gerrymandered Dallas City Council districts are. It is an absolute crime that right now only 2 out of 14 districts have a total Hispanic majority where they can control the vote. I know, I've worked at redistricting many times. The last redistricting in 2020, I had a map that would have given the Hispanic community the 4 strong districts and the possibility of a 5th. Will you help us get equal rights in redistricting?
The answer is yes. Again, I've had a history of fighting for equity. I have a history of standing with the community. We may not all agree on every single thing, but one thing we do is we meet, we gather, and we support one another. And so when we're looking at what you're saying, Brother Bill, equality, equity, that's our job. Our job is to bring the community together. You vote for us. You support us. You voted for me to be your Dallas School Board trustee. And so I must make sure that we stand on what we ran on, and we've done that. And I'm going to continue to do that. Economic development that brings jobs, that's sustainable, that hires our neighborhood residents. Make sure our community is safe, the quality of life, supporting our seniors. This is something that we are going to run on, and we're going to do exactly what we said. I have a proven record are doing exactly what we said we were going to do, and we've been very successful as a school board.
Reverend Johnson.
I want to ask him a question. Hold on a second. And the question is this: there's something that's gone through the state legislature, and LULAC's been sending delegations to speak against it, but that's the vouchers bill that just passed last week. I don't know if the House has passed it yet. Then let me tell you, this is a Republican effort to actually privatize public education. They have not funded the public schools since 2019, if you can imagine. Now they're going to give people that are wealthier, that want to send their kids to public school, up to $10,000 per year per kid that they're sending to a private school. I don't think that's right. What's going to happen to our communities of color in particular, that haven't had those opportunities? We have got to do something about controlling these guys, because they're going to destroy our country. They're definitely about to destroy the public schools. Thank you for being there. And Lupe?
Amen.
Can I, Ms. Lewis, can I address that real quick? I spoke, State Representative Ben Jones had a press conference in front of Kingston High School. He invited me to speak. I made it very clear, public funds belongs in public schools. Public funds belongs in public schools. And when you look at the values, this doesn't even fit the bill in private schools. It doesn't even fit the bill. It don't even take care of the whole tuition. And from when I'm speaking with the superintendent and other elected officials, private schools, from my understanding, don't even want the money, because we're saying if you're going to get our money, then you have to have our laws. You're going to have to go by our rules. So that is a fight. I do not support vouchers. I believe public funds belong in public schools. Yes.
I just wanted to make the comment that we just looked up your district, 48% Hispanic, 46% African American. So my question to you, obviously it's more Hispanic than it is African American. And you're in a LULAC, mostly Hispanic meeting. So my question to you is, will you commit to having Hispanics on your boards, on your office? And obviously it's more Hispanic. We thought it was more black. It's not. It's more Hispanic. So we want at least a commitment from you that there will be Hispanics in your office and taking care of issues that are important for that district.
Absolutely. I believe, again, let me say this very clearly. I have been a big advocate for black and brown, not just black, not just brown, black and brown. And we can't talk equity, we must do equity. We can't talk equity, we must do equity. And so we will commit to that. This is our community. And I have proven track record of diversity. District 5 is very diverse. We go from Wilmer, Texas, Oak Lawn, West Dallas, Oak Cliff, Arlington Park, downtown, uptown. District 5 is very diverse. When I named the school after Brother Domingo Garcia and Elba Garcia, I took it on the chin. But I knew I was doing the right thing. Very few folks complained when I named it after African American. So you can't have black and brown and only support one ethnicity. So we did that, and I'm proud of that work. And when you're looking at that beautiful school, that's going to be a $35 million renovation that's going in that school. You see what's going on in Kingston, $89 million. We have black and brown kids, black and brown parents, and I'm going to continue to stand on equity and make sure that we have quality resources for District 4, just like I did in District 5. You have my commitment.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it for Lexi Johnson. And Fernando, somebody has a question for you before we go to it.
I will get in trouble if I don't do this. I just got married on September the 21st. And my wife trained here from California to Houston to be here. So stand up and so everybody can see. She understands that. She's a former Navy. She's a veteran. I thank you for your support. Thank you, love you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Fernando, so a lot of our Facebook users are getting reports that ICE is in supermarkets like Fiesta and Rancho, and they're scared to even go to markets or come out to events like this, what would you say to them if they are encountered with ICE at supermarkets, at different public places?
Well, number one, those are just rumors for now. We heard similar things 20 years ago where they were going to the Fiesta and people's shopping carts were being left in the parking lots. That's just the fear. As of now, they are targeting people specifically because they have deportation orders or criminal history. But the second part of your question, if they do stop you on the street, or they do have a warrant, they go to your house, and they're looking for fulano de tal, and you're not fulano de tal, don't say anything. You have the right to remain silent. Por echar tus derechos. Don't say anything. I'm sorry, respectfully. Respectfully, officer, I don't have to answer that question. I'm going to exercise my right to remain silent. I'm going to exercise my rights. That's it. But the other thing, and this is where y'all in the community, there's, again, 20 some odd years ago, we saw the same thing. Reports of people being arrested at Fiesta supermarkets. I had an office in Austin. There were reports of the HEB in East Austin, which is the Latino community in Austin. People being arrested over there. Those were just rumors by people that were afraid. So get back to your grassroots. Go back to your folks, our community, and tell them, this is not happening. This is the fear part. They're going to people's homes. They're going to probation officers. And if you do encounter on the street, just tell them. I don't have to answer that question respectfully, sir. And I exercise my right. That's it. I want to say one thing about this lady. She, to me, was so proud of her. This is what first-generation immigrants bring to this country. A dreamer who has come out of law school and has done everything that we had to offer. I got to say, Domingo is so proud of you. And that's we all.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Now, speakers, and we're going to take a picture over here in a few minutes, but let's hear those that have some announcements.
Hi, you know me, Gracie Cortez. I live in Grand Prairie. We have been in the news